Hola a todos! ¿Qué tal? ¿Cómo estáis? I've just come back from Spain celebrating Christmas, Navidad with La Familia. One of the most common questions when I'm back in England from people after Christmas is, okay, but what do you guys eat in Spain for Christmas? What's a typical Christmas meal? My first Christmas Eve in England, do you know what I ended up doing? I was like, I can't see. I went to my boyfriend's house, boyfriend at the time, and I noticed that nobody was cooking. There was not much preparation going on. I thought, this is interesting. And then by the time it got to like 8, I was like, are we not going to eat? Because I know people eat quite early here. And they told me, oh yeah, no, we're just going to the pub. We're just getting a takeaway. Un takeaway? Perdona? Un takeaway? En Nochebuena? ¿Cómo? So yeah, they got a takeaway. I think it was like an Indian takeaway or a Chinese takeaway for Christmas Eve. I was so confused. I didn't know what was going on. And soon enough, I understood that the big Christmas Eve is normally in Latin countries and in Spain. Not over here. I'm going to show you the typical food and the traditional vocabulary that we use to describe it in español. Ready? Venga, vamos. So, los entrantes, the starters, los entrantes. Main thing is embutidos. Embutidos, cured meats, are really big in Spain. You know, we are the best country in the world. Yes, I am going to say it, the best country in the world for jamón ibérico, okay? For Iberian ham. No, it's nothing like Parma ham. Don't you dare. What do we have at the table? A lot of jamón ibérico, a lot of embutidos of other kinds. We can have lomo, we can have salchichón sometimes, chorizo, quesos, cheese. So you have a lot of vocab in there. Embutidos, cured meat, jamón, quesos, etc. Then we can also have other things. For example, in my house we have pate. Pate with something very weird, to be fair. It's like shredded egg. They call it huevo hilado. Pate con huevo hilado. I don't know why, but in my house it's always pate con huevo hilado. Never understood it. Never really liked the huevo hilado, but my mom insists on having it, and she's like, it's a delicatessen. Okay, vale. Lo que sea. This is one of my favorite type of food about Christmas. We have a lot of marisco. What is marisco? Seafood. And we have so many types of seafood that there's not really translation for the different names in Spanish. Have a look. There's not really a translation in English for all the different names that we use in Spanish. For example, in my house, we eat sometimes pulpo. This year we didn't, but normally we have pulpo. Pulpo is octopus. We have pulpo a la gallega, very traditional Spanish type of meal. Galician pulpo, which is like on a base of patatas con pimentón, con aceitito. Oh, qué rico, it's so good. Potatoes, paprika, olive oil, and the octopus on top. I know, if you're not used to eating seafood, this might not be your cup of tea, but that's what we normally have, guys. So, pulpo, very traditional. We also had nécoras. Nécoras are those big crabs, okay? Nécoras, los cangrejos. But yeah, we spent hours and hours peeling them and going through it and getting messy. We also have gulas. That's very Spanish. Gulas con ajito, okay? Gulas with garlic. Gulas is like the fake version of the angulas, okay? The angulas are very, very expensive eel. These are like the fake version of it. Nowhere near as expensive. And then we go for the typical gambas. You've all heard of gambas a la plancha, gambas al ajillo. We can have gambas of very different varieties. In my house this year, they also bought langostinos and they bought carabineros. Carabineros are like really big gambas. And my nan traditionally always cooks almejas a la marinera. Almejas are the clams, okay? A la marinera is the type of sauce that you cook with it, like onion type of sauce a la marinera, okay? Almejas a la marinera. Marisco y más marisco. Sometimes, this year we didn't buy it for Christmas Eve, we bought them for New Year's Eve. Percebes. What are the percebes? Whenever people see these, they are disgusted at the thought of them. It's fair enough. They are very ugly creatures. I really like them. People ask me, what do they taste like? I wouldn't know how to say. It's some kind of like squiddy texture. They're like barnacles. They grow on the rocks. So it's very difficult to access them. That's why they're so expensive. There's not many of them, and they get them in the rocks in Galicia. So yeah, they pull them out of the rocks and you kind of peel them, okay? You take the uña off of them. I'm getting into too much detail here. Anyway, percebes, another kind of very, very typical marisco. And sometimes we go a little bit French and we also have caracoles. We didn't have those in my house this year. Caracoles, escargots, snails. Are you absolutely horrified yet? Okay, so yes, we go big on the meat, the cheese, and the seafood. Carne, quesos, embutidos, quesos, marisco. Qué rico, por favor. I'm getting so hungry. De beber, to drink. De beber. What do we normally have? I have a very posh glass of Coca-Cola in a wine glass. Pretend. And then what do other adults in the room have? The ones that have good taste. They can have cava. Cava is our equivalent to Prosecco, okay? It comes from Catalonia. Cava, a very, very common drink. It's not as expensive as champagne. Sometimes we can also have champagne. So cava or champagne, mainly for toast. What I have here, para brindar. Para brindar, to toast, cava or champagne. Sometimes people drink cava all throughout the dinner, or they might go for the vino. What types of vino do we have in Spain? Spain again, such a good country for vino. Vino tinto or vino blanco, red wine or white wine. I think that the tinto is a lot more popular than the blanco in Spain. Some people might have cerveza. Yes, of course, cerveza. It's always there. I don't see it at the table normally on Christmas Eve. We normally go a bit posher than cerveza, but hey, some people might like it. What do Spanish people eat for Christmas Eve? Nochebuena. Ven que te lo enseño. The 24th, one of our most important nights. We go big, guys. It's almost 10 p.m. Let's eat. On the menu, we've got queso, cheese, langostinos, pate, y huevo hilado, something weird, nécoras, crab. Oh, jamón ibérico, so nice, guys. It has to be ibérico. Carabineros, which are like prawns, but on steroids, basically. Gulas, the fake version of baby eels. Almejas a la marinera, clams. I love them. Toma, nécora. Y que empiece lo bueno. As you can see, seafood, marisco, is the protagonist in this meal. A mojar el pan. No. Yes, I'm drinking Coke in a wine glass, but the other adults in the room, the ones that have good taste, guys, were drinking vino or cava. What can I say, guys? I love my prawns. No me escondo, ¿vale? Me encantan. Se llaman pigs in blankets.
Pigs and mountains.
Pigs in blankets. Cerdos en mantas. After you've eaten all of those entrantes and you are already very, very llena, you feel full, what comes next? El plato principal, ¿ok? Los segundos. El plato principal, podemos tener varias opciones. There's a few options there. We could have pescado, fish. Be careful with this word. Pescado is fish when it's dead. If you want to say, oh, that fish swims very well, obviously it's alive, that would be pez. So pez, it's alive, pescado, on your plate. So you can have pescado, you could have carne, meat. I feel that carne is a bit more popular in houses. And options for carne, lamb is a good one, cordero asado, the roasted lamb. Interesting fact, when I first moved to England, I thought I liked cordero, and then I tried lamb in England, and it tastes completely different to what it tastes in Spain. How is that possible? I don't know. I think in England the taste is quite strong. I don't know if you're with me on this or if I'm talking rubbish, but I honestly don't normally tend to like lamb, cordero, in Inglaterra, whereas I love it in Spain. I know I'm biased. I know you're going to think, oh, she's full of rubbish. She's just... That's my opinion. I don't know if anyone else has experienced this. Cochinillo, the roast, the piglet, okay? If you go to a really good restaurant in Segovia and you order suckling pig, for example, do you know how they cut it? They get a plate and they cut it through with the plate to show you how tender it is. So cochinillo, suckling pig, cochinillo. muy bueno en España. That's also very good in England. I'll give you that. Muy bueno en los dos. So cochinillo, also very traditional meal in England, I feel. And then we've got what seems to be traditional all over the world, el pavo relleno, which is what we had this year. Pavo relleno, the stuffed turkey. El pavo relleno. Pavo asado, pavo relleno. We got one this year and it was muy, muy rico. Estaba riquísimo. It was really tasty. Estaba riquísimo. I don't normally like pavo because it's quite seco, dry. Pero este estaba muy jugoso, muy, muy jugoso. Very, very juicy, very nice. So that's it. That's what we have as a main. I know, for example, in England, you usually do your traditional roast for Christmas. Remember, this is Christmas Eve we're talking about. We don't do the roast like you guys do it. We don't do the potatoes. We don't do the vegetables. We don't do the pigs in blankets. I had to explain to my family. I brought some pigs in blankets with me. And I had to explain to my family what they were. If you don't live in England and you've never seen pigs in blankets, imagine a pig sausage in a bacon blanket. Cerdos en mantas. And believe it or not, we've made it to the dessert. Hemos llegado a los postres. I don't know how we've made it, but we've made it. What do we normally have for postre in Spain? We're not a big country for postres. We're not big bakers. We're more of a savory type of country. So, our postres, yes, you can have different tartas, cakes, but traditionally at Christmas, you normally just get turrón and mazapan. Mazapan, marzipan, and turrón, nougat. They've done so many types of nougat. We ignored the turrón and the mazapan this year. We're not really big on that anyway in my house, so we decided to go for the good dessert. And which one is it? We broke the rules and we had roscón de reyes. Roscón de reyes is the king's cake. That thing that looks like a gigantic donut, yeah? With a hole in the middle, and you normally get the crown, and inside there's a bean, una fava, escondida, hidden, and a little figurine of a king. Traditionally, if you get the figurine of the king, woohoo, you're king of the day. However, if you get the fava, the bean, you need to pay for it, amigo. So you need to pay for the roscón. Spoiler alert, I got the fava this year, but I didn't pay for it. I know there are some other countries that do it, such as Mexico, for example. Again, we really like them, so why not have them twice? We had one that night that then was used for breakfast. And then my family had another one for King's Day, el Día de Reyes. Y de plato principal as the main, stuffed turkey, pavo relleno. Delicioso! And on to dessert, postre. Traditionally, we should have turrón and mazapan, but we broke the rules and we had the king's cake, roscón de reyes. Madre mía, qué bueno estaba. Unlucky because I got the bean and that means that I had to pay for it. Spoiler alert, I didn't pay for it. Estaba para chuparse los dedos. It was finger licking good. Y ya está. Esas son nuestras navidades. That's our Christmas Eve and our New Year's Eve. Another one of our big nights is pretty much exactly the same. Sometimes with even more marisco involved. If you have enjoyed this lesson and you want to keep learning about Spain and Spanish, this is your account. So click like and suscríbete. Gracias. Adiós.